Do the Ravens finally make a trade for edge rusher lineman? That and so much more on this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. Yes. Welcome back to episode 348 of the Purple Rain Podcast. The Jordan Richard, Patrick Scales, Patrick Queen, also Jeremiah Moon, and Frank Hartley episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. A lot to talk to, and our second straight winning Purple Rain Podcast on a Monday. It feels good. Back-to-back wins for the first time this year. The Ravens are now 3-5 after that nice win on Thursday night in Miami. A beatdown is what some can call it. Belt to end, what some can call it, but not done yet. Welcome back to this Monday edition. You follow us on Instagram here at the Purple Rain Podcast. This guy right here on Instagram or on X as Sutton Dev. Me, Instagram, simply as10.pro, X, simply as10. And like I say, one of our true raw reaction to games. Follow us on X. Overreaction, it's the best. It really is the best. Especially Thursday when we're winning games like that, when Rashad Bateman scoring touchdowns. I know I'm happy. Those touchdowns means a lot more to me. I don't know about you. It's very nice. But
yeah,
Halloween weekend's over. How are you feeling? Ravens win. It's not, all like sunshine and rainbows yet, but it's nice.
The technical struggles continue with Alex. He got kicked out. But I did get the gist of his question. We got trade talks and all that rumor stuff coming up down the line of the show. So make sure you stay tuned in and also subscribe to the channel, like the video. We'd appreciate it. Alex, there you are. You're back. Yeah. So
nice.
How am I feeling, man? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling optimistic. I said it on a couple streams earlier in the week. I said, 3-5 ain't never felt so good. You know what I mean? Like it feels like this team has, I don't want to say necessarily turned a corner. I don't want to necessarily say turned a new leaf, but something has shifted, right? I don't know if it's the mindset. I don't know if it's the mentality, the philosophy in the locker room. I don't know what it is, right? But it does feel like this Ravens team is trying to pick up the pieces to the season and really salvage it. So that and so much more on this episode of the show. As you guys know, this episode 348. We appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming through, whether you're watching live right now. Shout out to you. If you are watching live, let us know down below in the live chat. And if you're part of the hashtag replay gang and you're watching this after the fact, shout out to you. Hello. Appreciate you for coming through as well. Make sure you comment down below if you think the Ravens will make a move before the November 4th trade deadline at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Time is ticking, and we're going to get into that. Let me see. Asmodeus in the chat dropping our first super chat donation of the episode, making it rain with the 2-piece. Appreciate you, Asmodeus. Says, my money is no headline. Ravens tried to trade for X. It's going to hit like a Mack truck if we get a notification post 4 p.m. tomorrow. And it's from Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport or Jeff Zrebiec, even one of the more local guys. And they say, oh, the Ravens made an effort, right? They came very close to acquiring a Quinnen Williams. They came very close to acquiring, whoever's out there, right? And I'm only saying Quinnen Williams because I was thinking about maybe making that trade earlier today if the Jets would be willing to do it. And I think that the Jets would for the right price. I think that they were asking for, I want to say a second, a second-round pick for Quinnen Williams. Again, we're going to get into all that a little bit later in the show. Me and Alex actually have not talked since the Thursday night football game, the Thursday night win that the Ravens picked up over the Miami Dolphins in Miami. So let's go ahead and throw it to that first, Alex. So, Thursday night football, amazing W in Lamar Jackson's return. Did you think that the Ravens could have put up maybe some more points and maybe got to 30-plus in that game? For sure. But overall, just a dominant win in pretty much all three phases. I like what I saw in special teams for the most part. I like what I saw on offense, right, controlling the game, and then defensively only allowing 6 points. And now you have a defense that's allowing over their last 3 games, a.k.a. after moving Kyle Hamilton closer to the line of scrimmage, closer to the box, right? The defense is only letting up 13 points per game. So it seems like, again, this Ravens team has maybe taken a turn, turned a corner of sorts. I don't know, Alex, but how did you feel about the performance on Thursday night?
Whew. Um, Definitely like one of the final nails I think in this Dolphins team. We can say that for sure. That offense was just awful, stinky, and the Ravens kind of just took advantage of what was in front of them. They got to Tua, made him make mistakes, and they also just made their receivers make bad plays and running backs. I mean, outside of Achan, I think he was like the only one who was worrying me per se. Definitely
Yeah.
inside the tackles, but I mean everything else we just held them intact. I know the missed field goal, they were very just undisciplined. I think they had that false start, which it was a 4-1, and they were going for it, but from a Ravens standpoint, it's what we've been waiting for. But I have a problem with the way we started off offensively. Very slow. We got lucky that we got the turnover. And I don't know who caused the fumble. I know Buchanan had the second fumble. I'm not sure who caused the first one, but Gillen took it, ran on down. So that was really good to see. Outside of that, though, how can you be upset? 3-5, and that's a team you're supposed to beat. Beat who's in front of you. On to the next.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely got to beat who's in front of you. Like we talked about last week, man. You got to go 1-0 every week at this point. You really cannot afford to lose too many more games. You can really only afford to lose maybe two more at the max before you're just quite literally on life support, needing everybody else to lose as well in order for you to have a chance to get into the playoffs. So, yeah, a win is a win. You got to take it for what it is. I like what you said when you said the offense started slow, because I mean, I would agree with you to an extent, and I want to see if you agree with me here. It looked like Lamar Jackson started off a little bit slow as well in that game. And, I guess we could have just expected this naturally coming back from a hamstring. He was out for about a month, right? So obviously he wasn't going to come back and look like his normal, fully electric, 100% ready to go self. And I could kind of tell that when he was, scampering around the pocket and trying to get out of the pocket and things like that. He just didn't have his normal burst and agility. But I think it was the early third quarter, he had a nice run for maybe like a 15 or 20 yards, something like that. It was definitely his longest run of the night. And I said, okay, he's back, right? And you guys can see his numbers here on the screen. I mean, he played very, very well for his first game back. 18 for 23, 78% completion rate, 204 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 143.2 passer rating. And as Ari says here, Baltimore is coming alive. And that's what it felt like with this game. But on top of the offensive contributions that we saw on Thursday night, I really want to get into the defense, right? I really want to talk about how this defense did such a good job neutralizing what the Miami Dolphins wanted to do in most cases, right? The only kind of caveat I have with what I just said just now is that they were allowing a lot of those outside runs, again, to Devon Achane, especially in the first half. Kind of started to bottle it up in the second half, even though the Dolphins kind of switched their game plan, down the stretch of that game. They kind of figured that they were, playing from behind. But overall, man, I was very encouraged by what I saw from the defense. What do you have to say, Alex, about the defense and the performance you saw?
The way Teddy Buchanan was, I think he solidified himself as the linebacker. As for Trenton Simpson, I think he's not going to be more outside linebacker guy, the Sam per se, because you have Ojabo, Van Noy, and who's the other I'm thinking about? Ojabo, Van Noy, and I'm missing somebody else. I know it's three.
Cool.
Where's Adisa
Edge
Isaac?
rushers?
Still hurt. Yeah, our three edge rushers active. Mike Green, and
Oh,
Mike
Mike
Green.
Green.
These are
Yeah,
three
Mike
we
Green.
have right now. So you can't have three guys out every single game. Carl Lawson will be in there, but now it's Trent Simpson doing. But talking about the defense wise, I like what Cannon brought. Raquan dropped an easy pick, man. You've got to have them. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
going to get an easy pick. That one hurt, but Malachi Stark's getting his first. I think he's really kind of gelling himself back there as a center fielder. And to say, Aloha Gilman's kind of helped the team out, like, that's an understatement right now. Hamilton coming up, Gilman going back, beauty. But there's still a lot more I think we can improve on. And it's just showed this week, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, this is the offense we're about to play. Jim McCarthy's a young quarterback, but it's a lot different to what we just saw in Miami. So Zach Orr has work cut out for him this week. And that's, I'll be talking about more on Thursday, but I'm a little worried about number 18 in Minnesota right now. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, the funny thing about that, again, we'll get into our preview officially on Thursday, so make sure you stay tuned in for that. But I think it's totally going to be Nate Wiggins versus Jettas pretty much all game.
Oh,
I think that they're going to let him travel with him, and Nate Wiggins has been traveling so far. It's what he wants to do. He wants to be that premier number one corner on the team, and he's kind of proven to be able to step up and hold that role. Now, there are some times where Nate Wiggins kind of aggravates me in spots, and it's just like, bro, the coverage could have been better, or, why are you playing so far off a guy, those sort of things, right? So I definitely do think I share your sentiment when you say like you're afraid of Jetta's, going off on us, because I definitely think he's going to get his. I 100% think that Justin Jefferson is going to have himself a game, but Nate Wiggins is going to have his plays too. So it's going to be a battle of the best in the league. I cannot wait to see it. But yeah, so again, Ravens had a pretty awesome performance overall on Thursday Night Football, getting to 3-5 again. Like we said, 3-5 ain't never felt this good before. They got to get ready to go ahead and take on the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota this upcoming Sunday. Hopefully, they can take care of business, right? So let's go ahead and move on here to some more recent news, right? Some more stuff that's going on right now. Let's talk about this trade deadline, right? So as it stands right now, we're recording. It is about 7:00 on November the 3rd. I'm sorry. And you have less than 24 hours until no more trades can be made across the NFL for the rest of the active season. And our Baltimore Ravens are in a spot where you would think, right? You would think that these Baltimore Ravens right now are buyers and definitely not sellers. Yes, the Ravens are 3-5. I totally understand that. I get it 100%. However, it seems like they're on the upswing in this season. So it would make all the sense in the world for Eric DeCosta to open up the wallet of all of those picks that he has. There's an abundance, a wealth of picks. As a matter of fact, Alex, let me go ahead and show you. We'll let you know. I'll tell you exactly how many picks the Ravens have for this upcoming draft, because it's a lot, right? So the Ravens have their own first-round pick, a second-round pick, a third-round pick, a fourth-round pick. They have 5 fifth-round picks, 5 fifth-round selections in this upcoming draft. And then they have a 6th-round pick and then 2 7th-round picks. Now, you might be asking, well, Sutton, 5 fifth-round picks, it sounds like you could probably get some really good depth pieces with all of those 5th-round picks, right? Here's the problem. The Ravens do not have a good batting record when it comes to drafting 5th-round picks, right? So here are the 5th-round picks that the Ravens have selected since 2019. Starting with 2019, you have Dalen Mack, who, of course, no longer part of the squad. You also have Broderick Washington Jr., who is, a starter, rotational guy, not super impactful. I'm looking for impactful guys, like really like great finds, great pickups that you got in the 5th round, right? Broderick Washington, not really that guy for me. I don't know how you feel about that, Alex, but Broderick Washington is not really that guy for me. But moving on here, cornerback Shaun Wade, also not a part of the team anymore. I don't even know if Shaun Wade is on a team. Is he on a team? I'm really not sure. He might be.
yeah.
But
I'll look it up.
Continuing on, defensive end Dalen Hayes, nothing, right? Nothing burger. Fullback Ben Mason, another 5th-round pick, nothing burger. Cornerback Caillou Blue Kelly, nothing burger. That's another 5th-round pick. The next 5th-round pick after that, Rasheen Ali, also still on the team, kick returner, right? Can't really get too much more out of him other than just that. Not super impactful. Let's continue. This year, 5th-round pick, Carson Vincent. Haven't gotten anything out of him yet. So to stockpile and hoard, really, 5 5th-round picks for this upcoming NFL draft, it makes 0 sense for the Ravens to not package that with maybe even a higher round pick and go get an impactful player that you can bring in and he can make an immediate impact, and then maybe you can re-sign if he plays well for the future, right? We saw what the Eagles did this morning, acquiring Jalen Phillips, right? We also saw that they acquired Jair Alexander off of us. Alex, I want to give the floor to you now. I want you to tell us how you're feeling about where the Ravens are in this trade market, being buyers more than sellers. How do you feel about Jair going? And who do you think that the Ravens should maybe bring in, or should they bring in anybody, period? What do you think?
So Shaun Wade is no longer on a team. Look that up. um, Dan Hayes played 4 snaps in the NFL. Nothing after that. So now, to your question about the trade, I feel like it's gonna be very similar to last year. They traded for Tre'Davious White for like a fifth or a sixth, Deontay Johnson for like a sixth. It's gonna be guys that can help, but won't be star players. I personally think I'm on the same wavelength as you with Quinnen Williams. If you were to trade a second round pick for Quinnen Williams, not only does he start, he's a star only at the D line where you're already thinking, and who we both not to be Madueke is going to retire. We don't think Von Dior. Thank you for that subscription. Appreciate that, Von Dior. We don't think he's going to play another down. So right now you already have a huge. The draft class next year for D tackles, it's not the hottest at all. So I would love to get away. I don't think we're going to. I think we're going to trade a day 3 late pick, probably 6th, 7th, keep all those 5th round picks, draft 5, 6 guys in that 5th round because we're going to get comp picks. You use them all. 2 of them won't make the team. 1 might get traded away, and we're going to do the same process over and over and over again. I would be wrong, but that's just kind of how I feel with this team. And they're not going to trade for an O lineman. John's not going to prove he's wrong. It'll be, if anything, a backup D lineman and maybe a 3rd or 4th string corner. As for the Jair trade, I get it. He wasn't going to play. It sucks because we had this high expectation for him. We didn't think he was washed. We didn't think he was, I-word prone. Thought maybe it's a turn of a new page coming to Baltimore. We were wrong. we saw the first game. It wasn't good, and he couldn't stay healthy after that. And then when he got healthy scratch. With that all being said, get ready for a fringe cornerback and a body on the D line.
Yeah, and honestly, I saw earlier today. Excuse me. There's been rumors floating around as we get a super chat donation in from our guy Jeremy. Jeremy Early, appreciate that. I was going to mention rumors about Minkah Fitzpatrick. Excuse me, Alex. I've heard rumors about him maybe being on the trading block, and I'm thinking to myself, if the Ravens were to make that move and that's like their splash, right? I would be royally pissed. I would be royally pissed because at this point it's like, all right, EDC, are you just going to trade for somebody just to get a name? You know what I mean? Because from so far, what I've seen from Alohi Gilman, love it, right? I get it. Odafe Owe has more sacks in only 4 games with the Chargers than any other Raven has this entire season, right? But what Alohi Gilman did in that Dolphins game, forcing that first turnover and then just being as solid as he is, like a vet back there in that deep safety role with Malachi, that is invaluable. You know what I mean? That stuff, I think that's honestly been one of the most cleanest, fair, equal trades that I've seen in a while so far. Odafe always producing for them. Gilman's producing for us. I mean, it just is what it is. I'm going to get to Jeremy's super chat donation here. Appreciate you, Jeremy, dropping the 2-piece in the chat. Jeremy says if they don't trade for a player, that is malpractice. And yeah, I was going to get into that as well, Alex. By the way, 90 people watching live right now. Shout out to you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the show. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. But yeah, I was saying this. I was thinking this earlier. If the Ravens were to not make a move before tomorrow's 4 p.m. trade deadline, I think it means one of 2 things. Either 1, Eric DeCosta and his Ravens team, they're mailing it in for the season, and they're saying, hey, look, going and trying to be buyers at the trade deadline at 3 and 5 is hella risky. So we're just going to kind of sit back right now, hold on to all of our draft capital, and see where this season takes us, right? Because there is no guarantee if we go out and take a big swing on a player that they're going to swing the needle enough. And typically players that you get around the trade deadline don't move the needle all that much. But it seems like the Ravens only need a little bit of help. The Ravens are 95% healthy right now. There's only a few holes, right, that if the Ravens were to make a trade or 2, it could really make a difference, right, long term for this team, especially going down the stretch of this season. So it's either 1, that happens, or 2, nobody wants to do business with the Ravens because nobody wants to help the Ravens. Nobody wants to get the Ravens back on their feet. Everybody looks at the 3 and 5 Ravens. Look, it's the same reason the Tennessee Titans don't want to trade with us. They didn't make that. They blocked the Derrick Henry move mid-season a couple of years ago in 2023. I feel like a lot of this league feels like that. They do not want to do business with the Baltimore Ravens. They're not in business of actually helping the Ravens get better. That's just not what they want to do. So that might, and again, that might make harder on EDC. So it's either he's going to be reluctant to risk being buyers at 3 and 5 at the trade deadline, or he's trying desperately to buy somebody with these draft picks and put something together to get something in return. But nobody wants to do business because nobody wants to, help the Ravens out. I truly do believe that that's a thing. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about the Titans already, won trade with us, so it's kind of thrown out of Arden Key, Dre'Mont Jones, Kevin Zeitler, if you think we're going to trade for him. That throws it out. We know that. And what other teams feel that way? We don't know. I think I saw was Spencer Schultz, we won't trade for Chase Young. I think we tried to do it 2 years ago. We didn't like what was on his health report. I know that. So now it's those are a couple of targets that could easily help this team. Now it's who's out there. I mean, the Cowboys have Mozzie Smith, the D tackle, former first rounder. I think you can look at him. Not sure what they, but you guys line it's thin right now. Like we have Taven Bryan out there, playing noticeable and meaningful snaps. We can't be having that. That's not championship caliber football. So you make a good point there. And I don't know, around the league who would deal with us, who doesn't want to deal with us, but we're not in the best position right now, to say the least. And if we do have to pay, you have to pay up. And that's why I feel like with Quinn Williams, you gotta get that second. And he's under contract for multiple years. It's not a rental. I don't want a rental. We're not in the mood for rentals. I don't want guy we can have team control of, and if you get a guy like him, I'm gonna keep on saying it. It just makes your defense that much better.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. If all they want is a second round pick, you got to take stock of, what does a second round pick truly mean, right? Because if you look at the history, even of second round picks, right, for the Ravens, I mean, not to say that they've all been bad because of a lot of them have panned out and been good. But to get a young player, Quentin Williams is only 27, not on an expiring contract, right? I know he's only got 1 sack this season, but helping out in the run game and demanding double teams down low in the middle of that D line, that's what the Ravens need right now. They need a guy next to Travis Jones who can cause havoc and plug up the middle of the field right there. That's going to allow our weak edge rushers along the edge to actually get home more often. I mean, and I only say weak because, I mean, they're thin right now. Let's call it what it is. There's a reason why you've got Carl Lawson getting ready to suit up right off of the couch to go play against the Minnesota Vikings this upcoming Sunday, right? So, it only makes sense for and here's another thing, Alex. My only fear about Quentin Williams. And by the way, appreciate the super chat donation. D-Wa says he saw Scott Novak at the airport, the ref. Shout out to you. He's always doing something interesting, D-Wa says. He's always doing something interesting. By the way, 110 people watching live. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to you guys for coming through to this episode of the show. But again, my only concern about Quentin Williams is that the Dallas Cowboys are after him as well. And I think that the Dallas Cowboys would be in a much better position and much more willing, especially considering who their owner is, Jerry Jones, owner/GM. They're more willing to make a splash move for a Quentin Williams. They just are. There were rumors that came out earlier today that the Dallas Cowboys already got a deal done, right? They're just not announcing it yet, but it's somebody who can make an immediate impact. As we know, the Dallas Cowboys, I believe they play tonight. They play Arizona. But I would expect that news to come out. I mean, shoot, it could drop during the game. For all we know, just how the Cowboys do business. You never know. Or it could drop tomorrow. We never know. In the morning, something like that. But that would be my only concern is that, in terms of the bidding war for Quentin Williams, it would probably be Ravens and Cowboys. And Cowboys would probably be willing to outbid Eric DeCosta and the Ravens for a player of that caliber. But, man, you talk about a player that would move the needle for this team, that's it right there. Now, Alex, let's talk about a couple of other players that the Ravens could potentially be suitors for around the league. I had this article pulled up from Sports Illustrated that I was reading earlier, and it's the Baltimore Ravens page of it, right? And they were talking about a couple of trades, like 5 trades the Ravens should potentially do before tomorrow's deadline, right? So I'm going to go through these and tell me whether or not you like, love, or hate some of these, okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
So the first one they have on this list, and this one is one of the favorites of mine, right? Maybe not a super, you know, super impactful move. It's not going to move the needle all the way in one direction or the other, but it's defensive tackle Calais Campbell of the Arizona Cardinals, former Raven, 39 years old. He has 3 sacks on the season, 9 quarterback hits, and 17 total pressures so far. And most impressively, he's only played in less than 50% of Arizona's defensive snaps. So he's making the most out of his snaps at 39 years old. The only thing about it is that he has publicly said he wants to stay in Arizona and I guess finish out his career there where he started it all. But if the money, I mean, if I feel like if it made sense, he would come back to Baltimore. But what do you think about that one, Alex?
I'm right there with you. I know he's not gonna play every snap. Can use a leader like him. Can use what he brings to interior rush wise. And I say I don't want a rental, but I feel like it makes sense for all the right reasons. We talked about this team lacking leaders per se, and I think he checks a lot of those boxes and fills the holes that we're missing right now on the defensive line. Um, and even it's good for the young guys as well. So I'd be for it. I mean, a 7th round pick, I get it. Like you said, he wants to, end his career where he started in Arizona. Um, I completely get it. And if he doesn't get moved, I get it. But you aren't doing anything in Arizona, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my thing is this, like, again, like you said, my biggest thing is the leadership that you get with the Calais Campbell coming back. I mean, you saw what he was able to do on that sideline, on the field. Really, again, like I always like to say, galvanizing the troops. He'd be right there next to Roquan Smith, and I think that would add to the vibe and the energy of this team on the field, in the locker room, pretty much everywhere, right? And it would be like one of those kind of last ride things for Calais Campbell. Everybody knows this is his last season, right? I don't see him coming back and playing football for another year. So if you want to go out and potentially win a ring in your last year, it would make sense for Calais to come back to Baltimore, finish it up, and do it that way. But again, I see some people in the chat saying, too old, like some young players, please. We don't want rentals, like you were mentioning earlier. Calais Campbell would definitely be a rental, albeit a good one. He would definitely still count as a rental. 100%. I agree with you guys. Greg in the chat says, I low-key think that's who they're going for. At this point, man, I mean, if the Cardinals lose tonight, I could see Eric DeCosta getting on the phone with the Arizona GM by the end of that game, by the end of the night, and saying, hey, look, just give us Calais, bro. You're 2-6. Give us Calais. You know what I'm saying? What do you want? I got 5 5th-round picks, bro. I'll give you one of them. I'll toss you one of those, and we'll call it a day. But yeah, we'll see. Moving on to the second one, though, and this one, Alex, I've heard some rumors around
Okay.
town, and the rumors are that the Ravens might even be in the market for a linebacker, right? Inside linebacker. As we know, it's kind of been a little bit of a carousel there between, Trenton Simpson, Teddy Buchanan. Of course, Roquan Smith is a staple there. And there's even some guys lower on the depth chart that I'm still waiting to see if they can get some potential burn, like a Jay Higgins, so on and so forth. But one guy, Logan Wilson of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I get it. The Bengals are in the division, and they probably would not be one of the teams that would be wanting to do business with the Ravens because they're in the same division. However, Logan Wilson did request a trade earlier this season. And, with the Bengals being off to the start that they're off to, and the North looking as competitive as it is, it looks like the Steelers have taken another step ahead. Obviously, the Ravens look like they're going to be a trailblazer by the end of the season in this division. Maybe the Bengals, knowing that they're not going to have Joe Burrow back until maybe, December or something like that, I think it is. Maybe they start to offload some players, maybe a Trey Hendrickson somewhere else. But what do you think about Logan Wilson, or just the idea of a linebacker in general?
I don't think right now it's a necessity to say. We have a lot more issues on defense rather than linebacker, but I like his game, Logan Wilson. Will the Bengals do business with us? He brought up probably not. I get it. It's in division. I don't know what his asking price is. I think he just got a new contract recently too. Um, I just don't see the Bengals doing business with us at all. Now, the idea of a linebacker, if it can make Roquan play like 2023 Roquan again, I might be open to it. But is that linebacker to bring the same attitude and the same production as our former linebacker did next to him? I would hope so. So if it's like that, I definitely do it. But I don't think right now it's like on my top 3 of trades I'd make.
Definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, honestly, if we're being real, chat, like audience, anybody watching right now, if the Ravens get anything outside of a damn defensive end or interior D lineman or a guard, it's a failure. You know, I don't want to see a DB. I don't want to see an inside linebacker. That's not going to help us this season. Like this is like the move that you make at the trade deadline is supposed to make all the sense for the matter at hand, the situation at hand right now. You know what I mean? And I don't think that an inside linebacker or a DB really does that. So let me move along here. The third one was an edge rusher, right? So that's a good start. And this one's going to be Arnold Ebiketie from the
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta Falcons. And this one actually holds a little bit near and dear to my heart, Alex, because I remember the year that Arnold Ebiketie was drafted. I believe he was out of Penn State. I
Mm-hmm.
could be wrong. Is he out of Penn State? Am I right
I
about
believe
that?
so. I believe so.
Yeah. And the reason I remember that is because I did a whole video of him on this channel during that draft season. I was saying, like, the Ravens need to get this guy because all the tape that I saw from him out of college and even still the tape that I see from the Falcons, he's got a high motor. He's a high motor guy. I think I saw my guy Black Daniels in the chat talking about you want a high motor type of guy, you know, and that's who I want for sure. And we're gonna need edge rusher help. That's for, you know, you got Mike Green playing a shit ton of snaps, right, for his
Yeah.
rookie season. Respectfully, love Mike Green, love what he could potentially turn into, but we need more like viable help right here, right now. So I like the idea of an Arnold Ebiketie, but what do you think?
Yeah, right now I'm kind of just salivating for any edge rusher, whether it be him, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, any of those three. I take. Um, I, if you're a Ravens fan, you really can't say no to any edge rusher that is somewhat productive. I think because of what we have and what we've been lacking on the edges. While Mike Green back to back games with the sack, the one sack kind of came in the last play of the second half. Tua just made it like a sack on Tua doesn't count honestly because he sat there on a Hail Mary and didn't move at all. But if we were to get Ebitike, I definitely take it. I think it would definitely help us to be net positive. And you mentioned, the trades to help us. I think of, the Marcus Peters trade. That was a trade that, could help us get us over the edge. And surprise, surprise, his first game with us, the pick six against Seattle. That's the type of, trade we have to make. Can Ebitike come in his first game and maybe get a sack, force fumble? Yeah. Uh, I doubt, some of the other trades we've made. Trey White didn't come in last year and really wow us, didn't get picks. I mean, he was all right, choked in the biggest game possible, but guys like Ebitike, those are the trades I think we have to make, and I'd be happy if we were to get him, or another edge rusher that is productive and that has shown um, that they can, be productive and not, just get 2 to 3 sacks. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I think that it makes again more sense going back to Mike Green for his development. It would make more sense to have a guy who can be more productive that you can put him in the rotation so Mike Green doesn't have to play so many snaps because like I've always mentioned about Mike Green, the size for me is something that I feel like he's going to have to go up on, later in his career. And a lot of guys who have come into the league have kind of realized that, it's a big boys league. It is a big boys league, right? And I've seen him kind of get pushed around here and there in certain pass rush situations. And, playing so many snaps and being tired by the time the third and fourth quarter rolls around, that definitely doesn't help with that. So, yeah, for sure, getting some more edge help. Not exactly sure how much production, how much contributions you're going to get from a Carl Lawson, who's expected to play against Minnesota, but we will see. We will see. But let's see here. Let's see who's next. Who's next? So number 4 was a guard, right? Which is an
Mm-hmm.
interesting topic for me, Alex, because you know how this coaching staff feels about the offensive line right now. They want to be right about them, right? They want to put their faith in them, and they want that continuity, right? And they want them to kind of build that cohesiveness as a unit, which is understandable. But Sports Illustrated here offers up a Kevin Zeitler of the Tennessee Titans, again, another former Raven, as a potential trade candidate for the Ravens to look at. So, what do you think about a potential reunion with Kevin Zeitler, who's actually been playing despite the Titans being so ass this year? Kevin Zeitler has been playing well in pass protection and run blocking. He's allowed 3 sacks. That's all on the season. But, what do you think about a Kevin Zeitler potentially coming back?
I think this is one of EDC's biggest misses. He should have never let him walk out the door. We listen. I'm not comparing Marshall Yonda to Kevin Zeitler, but we kept paying Marshall Yonda because of him producing at such a high level, even when he was getting up there in age. When did Kevin Zeitler's play ever drop off? I think it was always above average. So you let an above average guard walk out for potential, and not just potential on that line. Like fourth round, it wasn't even like it was a first round, second round guy. You let some random just bozo go in the guard and expect him to be good. And I think Zeitler had, we went from Yanda to Zeitler. Like that was such a high uh, play caliber to just Flele and Voorhees. You know what I mean? We were seeing some of the greats play at line, and you go to that. I would
Yeah.
100% take him back, and I don't think it would happen. But if it were to happen, I would be absolutely over the moon. I mean, it would just erase the biggest question mark I think on this team right now, which is the guard play. And you can deal with the left guard or right guard. I don't know who he would take. I really don't know who he'd take, but I'm still kind of upset for EDC for letting Zeitler walk out the door, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think that this draft coming up is going to be a heavy offensive lineman draft for this Ravens team. I'm calling that one right now. I would think with their first pick, they're probably going to go with a guard or the tackle of the future, right? Because I don't think that Ronnie Stanley is going to be around for too much longer with the Ravens. So I'm pretty sure they're going to start looking into that. But you make a good point, man. Shoring up the trenches, especially on the offensive line, it's everything, right? We always talk about here on this channel how the game of football is predicated off of what happens with those big guys down low on the offensive line and the defensive line. What are they doing? Who's winning up front? Because whichever line is winning, their team is probably winning. And when you think about your O-line, the things that you can do with a good O-line, you can put together sustained drives that help you win the time of possession battle, right? That helps you keep the other team's offense off the field. And the best defense, like I always say, the best defense is a good offense that can stay on the field and keep the other team's offense off the field. And the only way that you do that is with a good, consistent O-line. It doesn't matter what quarterback you have, whether it's Lamar Jackson or whether it's Kyle Allen. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. You need to be able to have that offensive line. It needs to be stout. Just look at what the Indianapolis Colts have been able to accomplish to this point in the season. They have one of the best O-lines in the league with a Daniel Jones back there who, again, I know, and I talked to Alex about this before the stream. I know we both picked the Colts to win, but I woke up Sunday morning thinking like, hey, look, like the Steelers are going to win this game because I knew that the Colts were due to have a bad game, but that's besides the point. Their O-line is vicious, right? And that's why Jonathan Taylor has been able to do everything that he's done this year. So, and I say all this to say, while that all may be true, I think that addressing the O-line is more of a task for the off season as opposed to right now. Some people may disagree with me when I say that. Some people really desperately want to bring in a guard to replace Falele or replace Andrew Voorhees or what have you. But right now, this team needs interior D linemen so that teams who have a really good run game come January, which is what teams want to do in January in those cold weather months, we can be able to shut that down, right, and have our defense kind of be predicated off of that. So, again, no O-line help coming. Harbaugh and EDC love this O-line, says Louisville Cardinals Ravens. I agree with that. But again, definitely go after the defensive line. That front seven needs to be addressed before tomorrow, period.
I'll ask you this.
Sure.
Realistically, I kind of gave my realistic of what the Ravens will do. What do you think? I think the backup corner and then, maybe a body on the D line.
I believe that as well. And when maybe not honestly, it might be another safety. It might be Minka. I don't know. Maybe not. I think you're about right though. Cornerback, and then again a body on the D line, somebody that doesn't really knock your socks off. It doesn't wow you. It doesn't necessarily move the needle, but it's something you need. And it's just like, again, I don't want to hold out hope and be waiting by my phone tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, just hoping for a trade to come through, EDC to make a big splash, just for it to be, like you said, a DB. So I got to temper my expectations. But yeah, man, realistically, I think I'm right there with you, man. A DB and again a body on the D line. That's pretty much about it. Because it could be Quentin Williams. I said it before. It could be Quentin Williams, but like, I think realistically, I think the Cowboys will be much better suited to make that trade because don't the Cowboys have an extra first round pick, I want to say, for Michael Parsons, or was it a second?
I think, yeah.
It's a first or a second?
Yeah, first.
It's a first? Yes, I mean they can pretty much get whoever they want right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they poached Max Crosby or something like that, something crazy. You know, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, go ahead though.
If we give him a second for Roquan, I know he was the second best linebacker at the time. Why not give a second up for Quentin Williams? Especially when you look at a history of second round picks, even third round picks. Like we have a decent Isaac, our third round pick last year, who hasn't played a snap in the NFL yet. That's why I'm so willing to give up these picks. We haven't really seen the return that we've usually been getting out of these picks from these guys. It just hasn't been there. So if Quentin Williams takes a second round pick, I'm all for it because he's going to be better than what we have next year, probably for the foreseeable future. He'll be a top tier defensive tackle for the next 3 years, 3 4 years. Your second round pick
Yeah.
gets a 4 year rookie contract, and he's already under contract. It saves you that. So that's why I'm all for winning. I think I would throw a second and maybe even like a six, but I just think he's that good, and I think he can really catch up even for next year and the years after. It saves you a lot of headache, I think, in the draft as well.
Yeah, and again, I think it comes down to a philosophy thing. You know, like if you're in a win now situation, like the Ravens are, right? They're going to be strapped for cash after this season. You know, with what 20 something plus free agents pending. Of course, Lamar Jackson is going to have to get extended, or else you're going to have to pay a $75 million cap hit. Ravens aren't going to do that. Um, but when you're in a win now window, much like the Eagles, and here's where I feel like Eric DeCosta should take a page out of Howie Roseman's book, right, and the way he does things, is that you got to go for it. You got to pull out all the stops, right? Like they spare no expense. Like if it's going to take a second or a third round pick for a guy who's already proven, right, then go for it. I mean, there's a reason why you picked Mike Green with the 50-something pick, the second round, right? There's a reason why you picked him, because he was already proven to be productive in college. So you take the step up above from that, a guy who's already proven himself in college. The step up from that is a guy who's already proven himself in the league. And I think a second round pick or a third round pick is absolutely worth a player like that. I don't understand prioritizing, the players of tomorrow and the future when you're not in a rebuilding phase. I could understand if the Ravens were just quite literally just rebuilding right now. If they were in a full rebuild mode, then sure, I get it. But they're not. They're not. So it's just, I want to see something big happen. I do. Will it happen? I doubt it. Again, I think we're gonna have a very tomorrow's gonna be interesting. I'll say that, and I think you're gonna be right. I think that the Ravens will probably end up making two moves. They do have $16 million in cap space that they freed up, and this is post Jair Alexander trade. So I think that they are going to make a move or two. One of them is probably going to be for depth at DB, and the other one's going to be a guy maybe in the interior D line, or maybe an edge rusher that doesn't really move the needle so much, but we're just going to have to hold out and hope that they do. Kind of like what we did with Alohi Gilman, because when Alohi Gilman came to town, a lot of us didn't even know, including myself, who Alohi Gilman was. Didn't realize he was an NFL vet. But he's played well for us so far. So literally all we can do is hope right now. But the season is still squarely in Lamar Jackson's hands. And if he can continue to have performances like he had on Thursday Night Football, I don't care who the Ravens bring in, whether it's an interior D lineman, whether it's a Quentin Williams, whether it's a Max Crosby. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. Lamar Jackson is going to have to be the one to will this team to most of its victories. So let's go ahead and talk about, Alex. Let's talk about the landscape of what we're looking at here in the AFC North and just in the AFC and the NFL overall. You wanted to talk about some
Mhm.
around the league stuff. What did you take from yesterday and what happened?
That Bears Bengals game.
Talk about
I
it.
mean, I was more so for the Bears, not just because I dislike the Bengals, but Trey Hendrickson might not be a Bengal come tomorrow at 4 o'clock. That's really why I was rooting against them. I don't want Trey Hendrickson twice. He's that good. So now it's coming up. I think the Cowboys have called, like you said, all those picks. They've called about Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Maybe a Cowboy come 4 o'clock tomorrow. So that helps out in many ways possible. But Joe Flacco put up, 450, 4 touchdowns, and still lost.
Yeah.
You got Jamar pissed off at the defense, Chase Brown, like throwing, expletives at the defense. See, man, it's not looking too hot right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Wait. Say that last part again. I think you cut out a little bit.
Oh, since he's not.
You said since he's not looking too good right now.
No, no.
Yeah, I don't know why your thing keeps like coming in and out, like the camera or whatever,
Oh,
like
that's
the
all
stream
good.
keeps like popping in and out, whatever. Okay. Let me see. So no, yeah, Cincy, they, of course, they'll never do business with us. That's for sure. But they're interesting to me because I feel like Joe Burrow, like we mentioned earlier, he's probably going to be back in December sometime like that. I feel like it might be a little bit sooner. We might start to hear rumblings of Burrow coming back by the end of the month. And I don't think that they're necessarily going to contest for the AFC North, but I did find that game interesting. I mean, that last play to Colston Loveland, that strike from Caleb Williams, man, for I think like a 58-yard touchdown for what ended up being the win. That was the go-ahead score. Man, I would be pissed. I would be so pissed off if I was a Bengals fan because that guy, Colston Loveland, had 3 Bengals defenders around him, right? And none of them could bring him down. He spins out of all of them, right? And he scores a touchdown, right, for the win. And then Flacco just doesn't have the arm to get into the end zone on the Hail Mary on the last drive. But crazy game there. I want to talk about this Steelers and Colts game, though. The Steelers and
Mm.
Colts game was probably it was the worst part of yesterday, right? Everybody expected, or at least, the general public, Vegas, they were banking on the Colts to win, right? But I knew, me as a longtime AFC North watcher, right? AFC North ball knower, if you will, right? You kind of know how the other teams in the division operate. We know how the Steelers operate. They were coming off of a 2-loss streak, right? They lost 2 in a row. And the Colts are coming into the game flying high. I think they had won 4 in a row. They're coming to the game 7-1, right? Into Pittsburgh. It was just a perfect storm. And what this does is it puts the Ravens 2 games behind first place in the
Oh,
AFC North.
oh. The
What?
Ravens
What?
are
What?
trading for Titans edge Dre'Mont Jones and a conditional 5th rounder that could become a 4th rounder.
Oh man! Breaking news here on the Purple Rain podcast. You heard it here first, folks. The Ravens have made a trade. The
There
Ravens
it
have
is.
made a trade. Okay, we got something. We got something.
Yes, we do.
Let me look this up. Let me look this up. Hold on. Go ahead and read the details or whatever else you got on it really quick while I bring it up.
Sources from Ian Rappaport. The Ravens are trading for Titans edge Dre'Mont Jones and a conditional 5th rounder that could possibly become a 4th rounder. 4.5 sacks in the last 4 games.
4.5 sacks in the last 4 games. Okay. How old is this guy? Let's do some intel.
I don't think he's the oldest. He is 28.
28. Okay, not bad.
Former
Not
Seahawk.
bad.
Let's see. Yeah, 4.5 sacks in the last 4 games. Um, Fumble recovery this year. He's played about 70% of snaps on defense. Um, Obviously, it's the Titans. 5 tackles for losses, 9 quarterback hits.
Okay. That's what I like to see. Look.
Yep.
What knee jerk reaction? Alex, go.
I'm definitely happy about it. Gonna have to get a highlight video out like pretty quick, but it's definitely like
Yeah.
not the worst thing in the world. It's not gonna be. It's not a body. I'll tell you this right now. It's not a body. It's not gonna be a guy that won't be playing like a couple of snaps here and there. But he can definitely help us out better, I think, than what we have. Um, I think it's a good trade. Don't know how a 5th and a 4th, but if this is what it'll take to get guys to help us out, we got a couple of 5ths that can go. So I'm happy for. I still want to see more though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is gonna be, we just talked about it's probably gonna be a body, right? This is gonna be the guy on the front 7. And then I think that they'll also probably end up going for a DB like we mentioned earlier. But I'm just trying to look here and look at some of my guys' stats really quick just to see what we're getting here. Because you said 4 sacks in the last 4 games. That's interesting to me. Who did they play? So most recently, he had a sack against the Chargers. Okay. Sack and a half against the Chargers. He had a sack against the Colts, which is impressive. There's a good O-line there. Let me see. Sack against the Patriots, and then a sack against the Raiders. Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it. Again, got to see some tape. Definitely got to look at some tape on him, see what he's been doing so far this season. Actually, as a matter of fact, let me look this up really quick. Let me see what bro has been up to. Look up some stats. In real
Yes.
time, breaking news here on the Purple Rain podcast YouTube channel. The Ravens are trading a 5th-round pick, which could turn into a 4th-round pick for Titans edge rusher Dre'Mont Jones, 28-year-old edge rusher, currently playing for the Tennessee Titans. Heard it here first, folks. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're breaking this news here live with us, I think I saw my guy Coach in the chat. What's going on, Coach? Appreciate you for coming through. Man, we got some breaking news. I had a feeling, Alex, that this was going to happen.
Always happens.
I had a feeling that this was going to happen while we were live. I just knew it. Man.
Always happens. Always happens.
So, yeah, man. But hold on. Let me see. Let me look at this. Let me look them up because I want to see a couple things.
Like, it's not a Max Crosby, but I think for what it's worth, it's help us out. Who knows, man? Could definitely get he could have a sack his first game with us, and he'll be. I mean, I don't know if he'll be probably here tomorrow. Could practice Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, he could be ready depending how he ramps up.
Yeah. We need him to be ready. That's for sure. The Ravens get more depth out on the outside now. So you're looking at Mike Green. You're looking at Kyle Van Noy, right? You're looking at David Ojabo. You're looking at, Carl Lawson. And you're looking at Dre'Mont Jones, the newest addition to the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens don't trade a player. They just trade one of those 5th-round picks that could turn into a 4th-round pick. And honestly, to that pick, good riddance. Good fucking riddance.
I'll say it.
I'm glad. Go ahead.
Part of my language, fuck them picks. I'm at that. I've seen the Rams and Les Snead win a Super Bowl and perform a whole rebuild, and I think right now are better than us. And they said F them picks. So I'm kind of behind that philosophy now. Bring me Quentin Williams, and I'll be a lot happier. I think that will really help me feel a lot better about this D line. But it better not be done yet. That's all.
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, if you give me Quentin Williams on top of this move, oh yeah, I'm ecstatic. Like, turn me up. Turn me all the way up. We got a couple super chat donations to get to. Really quick, let me see. As Modia says, looking up PFF, he's ranked the same as Owe right now, according to PFF player grades. I mean, hey, Owe's been balling out past 4 weeks that he's been in LA. So, and the thing is, the thing that I really like about this, by the way, 130 people watching live. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Breaking news here. The Ravens are trading for Dre'Mont Jones, edge rusher from the Titans. The thing I like about this is that a guy like Dre'Mont Jones, coming from a poverty franchise like the Tennessee Titans, and I get it, the Ravens only have 2 more wins than the Titans do on the season, but I think it's clear and obvious who the more competitive team is. So mentally, for a guy like Dre'Mont Jones coming into this Baltimore Ravens team who's already kind of having a shift in mindset and going in the right direction, coming off of a train that was going in the absolute wrong direction, I think it's going to do something for his motivation. I think it's going to do something for his performance, and we're going to see that on Sundays. Like you said, we could see a sack in his first game. 4 sacks in his last 4 games. 4.5 sacks, that is. I'm sorry. In his last 4 games. Let's get into some more of these super chat donations here. Let me see who's next. D-Waz says, do you guys like Dre'Mont Jones? Liking it so far? Go ahead.
If it's like, say it's like the best thing, best thing since sliced bread. But right now, I would lead the Ravens with sacks. So I don't say beggars can't be choosers, but it's going to help us out. I think it's better than what we have. But I think me and Son agree. Just we need something else. Need something a little bit more. Then we can really feel better about this D line. But it's good to see that we're working on improving the team. EDC, that makes me happy. But what else do you have for me? What else, man? No sleep night for you.
Yeah. Definitely need to see some more stuff here coming in. Thank you for the super chat donation, DWAS, dropping the 2Ps down there in the chat. Andrew G dropping the super chat donee. Appreciate you, Andrew. Says his previous contract was 1 year, $10 million with Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Devon Johnson says, Owe light. Hey, man. Man, I need to. Oh my gosh, man. Gosh, I cannot wait to see this. again, man, I think that the best thing about this is the guy is actually this season and being productive on a bad team like that. On a team, being productive on a team who trails a lot and opponents are probably running the ball more against means you're making the most out of your pass rushing opportunities, right? And to have 4 sacks in that time period is huge to me. That's huge. Again, like you said, it would lead the entire Ravens team in sacks for the whole year, which is still wild. It's wild. But no, it's a start. Like you said, it's absolutely a start. Hopefully the Ravens can capitalize on this and do a little bit more before tomorrow's trade deadline at 4 p.m. Eastern time. But the Ravens needed edge help, and they got it. And they got it.
They did. They did.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean,
that was exciting. That was fun.
Very, very, very. Yeah. And so the Ravens have gotten rid of one of those 5th round picks now. So I guess they're down to 4 5th round picks. But since it could turn into a conditional 4th, I guess, like, does that mean, I don't know. What does that mean? You know what I mean?
Let's be real. We know DaCosta, if we don't keep him, he'll be a conditional pick, or he'll be a con pick. So we'll get a pick back for him. You're doing, but I want this guy to be so good that we extend him. That's what I really hope it is. You know, I'm hoping he's that good that we can extend him and he really makes plays for us. But that's just me drinking the purple Kool-Aid. Probably won't happen, but it's definitely, you know, what we have. And kind of Sam, I do agree. He says not exciting, more relief. It's 100% some relief in there. You know, it's not a body, and it's better than what I thought. I didn't think, you know, I said it about 25 minutes ago. I didn't think Titans would do deals with us. But they don't look at us, I think, the Super Bowl contender compared to 2023 when it was Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and they probably don't look at, you know, a Dre'Mont Jones sending him to the Ravens as somebody who's going to really put the Ravens over the top. I could see if it was maybe like a Jeffrey Simmons or somebody like that, then then they probably wouldn't deal him to us. But I think that they were more willing to part ways with Mr. Dre'Mont Jones here. So, but I'm looking at, let me see, bring up his snaps. He's played 386 snaps this season, has 26 tackles and 5 sacks on the year. 6'3", 281 pounds. Like you said, he's 28 years old, out of Ohio State. He was drafted in 2019, 3rd round pick to the Denver Broncos. So, let me see. And you said he forced a fumble, or he had a fumble recovery?
Fumble recovery, I believe. Fumble recovery.
Okay. Dre'Mont Jones. Let me actually bring this up on screen here. So as you guys can see here, a little insight here, next-gen stats on new Ravens outside linebacker Dre'Mont Jones. Dre'Mont Jones pressured the quarterback a career-high 8 times for 1.5 sacks on 34 pass rushes. That's a 23.5 pressure rate against the Chargers on Sunday. 3 of his pressures and his half sack came across 10 matchups against Trey Pipkins, who replaced an injured Bobby Hart at right tackle in the first quarter. Jones recorded his full sack on his only matchup against right guard Foster Sarrell. So, had himself a day against the Chargers, right? 23.5% pressure rate. Not bad. Not bad. You know what I mean? So, exactly. A lot better than what we have, for sure. For sure. But yeah, man. Definitely looking good. Again, it's help. It is help, right? Maybe not necessarily the splash that all Ravens fans might have wanted. Maybe, of course, it's not a Max Crosby, right? It's not somebody crazy, a Kayvon Thibodeau even, who I know a lot of people were really banking on maybe coming to Baltimore as well. But you get a guy who's still in his 20s, right, in the prime of his athletic career right now. He's actually performing on a higher level than I think he's probably ever done in his career to this point. Let me see sacks in previous years. I mean, last year he had 4.5 sacks all season, right? Yeah. He only played in 9 games, actually, and had 4.5 sacks. Not bad. And then the year before that, played all 17 games. Didn't start in all of them, though. Had 4 sacks that season. Season before that, 4.5. So he's on pace this season to have a career year. And the Ravens just got him for a 5th-round pick. So, good news, good news, good news. Man. Like I said, that was fun. That was fun. But yeah, guys, make sure you guys like the video. Again, subscribe to the channel if you are new here to PRP. We're gonna go ahead and wrap the show here as we're approaching about an hour. We got Monday Night Football coming on soon, but this is again Huge news. The Ravens just acquired Dre'Mont Jones, edge rusher from the Tennessee Titans, and we broke it here live on episode 348 of the
Yeah.
Purple Rain podcast. If you're just getting in here, make sure you hit that rewind button, right? Go to the beginning of the episode so you can see all of our other takes for what we're thinking about this Ravens team right now. But definitely going to go ahead and make a video reacting to this when we get out of here, so make sure you stay on the lookout for that too. But yeah, anything else you got, Alex?
No, I need to go make a video real quick. So you'll be making one, I'll be making one.
Yeah, and that's what we do here. So, again, we appreciate you guys for coming through. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out of this one.
Yeah, thank you for coming to episode 348 of the Purple Rain podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. As always, man, stay positive and test negative.
Yes. And never, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. It's been episode 348 of the Purple Rain podcast. We're going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.